Welcome to the Around the Block podcast presented by PrepVolleyball.com. We're your hosts, Jimmy Pompeo and Sam Heyman, here to give you the inside scoop on all things prep. Hello and welcome to the final episode of the year of Around the Block with Sam and Jimmy.
We back,
and then we done for the year.
And then we're done for the year.
So be sure to use promo code podcast for
5.
I don't know why I keep forgetting. It's very simple. It's two numbers put together.
It is 2 and 5%, not 7%. Make it one number.
You know what it is? I have New Year's brain where it's like between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah,
nothing gets done except for all of our awards.
We're in the twilight zone right now. It's okay.
Speaking of awards, we do have some left. Well, not really. We're
almost done. Yeah, we just have one left. Actually, no, they should by this time they'll all be out.
Yeah. So we just recently announced our National High School Coach of the Year, which was James Ward from Mount St. Mary in Oklahoma.
Congrats, Coach.
Great season for them. Made a big splash on the national stage with the big third place finish at Volleypalooza against some really tough Texas teams.
Oh yeah. They came down, showed that they were about that action, and they put together a good run and almost clipped Dripping Springs, which would have put them in Preston Wood's crosshair. So that would have been an interesting match to see. But I think for that tournament we saw, I think everybody landed for Volleypalooza. I think everybody landed where more or less they should have, at least in the Final Four. And we talked about it. I mean, our class of 2025 Player of the Year, Kari Spears, who was a lot of people's choice for Player of the Year, which is not surprising, kind of showed why she's that person. And it was just that she's more or less untouchable. If they can keep the ball in a position to get it to her for third contact, you're going to find yourself pretty successful in most matches.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But now the state of Texas can breathe easy. At least the high schools can. She'll be off to Austin to play for Coach Elliott, provided something in the portal doesn't happen anytime soon. But
yeah, that's the other thing we were going to talk about today was the portal mayhem that's happening right now.
Shenanigans. It's pure shenanigans.
It's like as soon as the finals ended, it's just
even before that. It felt like people were moving before the finals.
But we had some very big profile moves. Like the big one that's I think sparked it was, well, there's multiple ones, but Chloe Chicoine leaving Purdue,
along with 3 other players.
Yeah, which here's my thing with all these big moves in the portal. I don't want to be that cynical person, and I asked you this before: is this all about money?
And I think I'd have to go back and watch the show again, but I mean, it feels like there's part of that is hard to keep out of the conversation simply because of the path that we've been on for so long and what the conversations have revolved around and the results of those conversations and how things are kind of hitting the ground now as the dust settles or at least begins to settle. So I think for some, like if you look at the case of Auburn Tompkins, she was at Texas for 2 years. I don't think she saw the floor, or at least not in any sort of meaningful capacity. So for her move to Illinois, I believe it was, that could be a simple fact of I'm ready to play and they don't have a path for me. So it could be that. Illinois also could have been like, hey, we got a bag for you. That also could be the case, And so I mean, and we look at the case of Jaden Livings, I think, who left USC, went to SMU, who, by the way, was a 2 seed in this year's tournament. I think there's a lot going on in the game, and so it's hard. I would pause and say it's going to be a different scenario for everybody. There could certainly be situations where someone's looking around saying, hey, like, there's demand for me over here. I can go get a check for a couple of years. That would be cool. And I'm going to play. Like,
how do you say no to that?
That's what I mean. Like, if someone was saying, like, even if it was, we have NIL opportunities for you and a little bit of money and your educational stuff's going to be covered. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you take that? I mean, unless you're literally at Penn State, who just won a national championship. But I don't want to be Mr. Negative over here, but odds are they're going to have kids in the portal too before too long.
It's like no matter who you are, what kind of program you have, how successful you are, there are going to be people that see the grass greener on the other side.
Yeah. Pittsburgh, Final Four. We just had, and we mentioned in our last show when we were picking, and I said, I was picking Pitt to make it to the final, and I said, I really like XYZ player, and sure enough, one of them went into the portal. I think, was it right before the national championship or right after?
I think it was right after.
Yeah. So I look, like, at a certain point, I don't think anyone's safe right now. And maybe some people, aside from like your very minuscule top 1 or 2% of players who, have made commitments, they're in the plan, they have a good, rapport with the staff that's there. It's very Wild Westy right now, as we've said probably, a couple dozen times at this point. It's but back to your original question, and one that we've asked before, I don't see it being necessarily a singular thing. And I would hope that for a lot of these moves, it's more a situation where they're trying to get an opportunity to play and be, more central in whatever team they're moving to and their, their plan moving forward. That being said, it's not a stretch to say or be able to see, some of these moves being made for the bread, because it's in the mix and it's always going to be in the mix. But again, those are the kinds of things that only, the athletes, their coaches, and the institution that they're moving into. That's their conversations. I'm not here to make that kind of conjecture and put that out there.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Is like on the surface, when I scroll on X and I see these high-profile college players that we talked about for 4 straight years as juniors players, it's like, oh, X, Y, and Z is leaving. They're in the portal. They're going to this school. And I just look at it and go, in my mind, because I can only see the front end of what the transaction is from one school to another. I don't like it, but I have to understand it because there are a million different reasons, like you said, why someone would leave a program and join a new one. And if you really get down to the core of it, we had this conversation about how college sports are slowly becoming professional sports. When you are a professional athlete, your job is to get paid to play. And players leave teams all the time, and fans will look at them and go, you have no loyalty. But in reality, this is a job, and you should always be working to get more.
Yeah, and it will be at the Division I level. Like, that's just what it's going to be. I think we'll still have the ideas and the ideals of amateurism and what the NCAA ostensibly operated on for decades and decades, and that's we'll still have that. We'll still have that at the Division III level. I think we'll still have some semblance of balance at the Division II level, although I would be willing to say that I think that'll probably start to shift a little bit, and their balance may kind of shift a little bit more. But I think we can look at some of the new rulings that have come down with regards to eligibility and the junior college process and how that looks like it's going to start evolving. I think we have precedent now where we're going to start seeing a lot more junior college players, or at least high school players, and certainly for sports like football, basketball. We may see it for volleyball, but I think we're going to start seeing junior colleges become a bit of a proving ground for high school seniors, and we're going to start seeing that in conjunction with the transfer portal start to make the high school to collegiate path a little bit longer. And for some sports, I can see it being a potentially good thing where it leads to a little bit more development, a little more strength, a little bit more readiness to adapt to the new environment. But if it leads students to gaining more schooling, more education, more opportunities for them to leave their sport and become, members of society that are productive and doing great things to help change the world and make it a better place. That's cool. That's great. But I think most people are starting to understand what this is all about.
Yeah, and the junior college rule, when that came down, that you go to 2 years and you don't lose any eligibility, two different scenarios came up in my mind. The first one is the one that I would kind of hope would be the reasoning behind it, which is the incubation of the athlete.
Sure.
Maybe they're not ready to move on to the next level quite yet, but the potential is there.
Yeah.
So they want to sharpen their skills, sharpen their personal values and sports skills for the first 2 years, then move on to your next destination. The other direction was a farm system for schools that only want to pay their athletes for 2 years.
Absolutely. I mean, we have a number of scenarios over the past decade or so, maybe a little bit longer going back, where somebody's star, so to speak, rose in junior college, and all of a sudden there's buzz coming in about oh, who's this? We didn't know. They were a touted prospect we could see, or maybe we didn't know, and then all of a sudden they start lighting it up, and they something clicked, and But again, I think student athletes are going to be taking that route as a direct result of the fact that they can defer a dream deferred, so to speak, right? And make that a bit more of a viable reality when it's, you're not 18, 17, 18, 19 coming in anymore. You're going to be 19, 20, 21 coming in. And that's going to be your freshman year. And you're going to be, but then as this levels out, like I just think that with red shirts for any number of reasons, extended eligibility for a lot of different reasons, like you're going to start seeing older and older college rosters where these individuals are students, but are they really? Like realistically, like collegiate basketball at this point, like high level Power 4 collegiate basketball, if you're projected to be a draft pick, you're going to college for a semester. You're not going for 4 years. And I hate to be cynical about that, but like that's just how the rules are set up. You don't get to go directly to the draft. And not for nothing, but we are seeing a lot more juniors players in basketball go and play in Europe to circumvent that rule and then come in after they've been a real professional, made money, learned what it is to be in a, on a professional franchise. So it's like, again, and I think, we hate to be cynical about it, but it's just kind of the state of affairs right now. So
it is. And there's scenarios where there's no choice but to be cynical because we just don't know anything yet. And the human mind just assumes things based on the information that's in front of them. Until we know more about what the landscape of college sports looks like, you have to make educated assumptions based on what you've seen before, which is basketball players play for a semester, go to the NBA, or they skip college altogether. This is more recent. They go play pro for a year, then they go to the NBA. Football, it's a little bit different. I feel like they do play as full 4, and you'll see, like, you see the development difference. Absolutely. But like we're making assumptions based on the information we have in front of us, and we won't know anything until it actually gets all ironed out and it's among us.
And we still have a lot of moving pieces still in the mix, and I think that's part of what makes this a little bit of a, an up and down process. Is that we don't have final answers. We have we have a direction that we've been led down, and we still have the final issue, the final elements of the NCAA settlement coming down, and we kind of have some rough numbers of what the, program salary caps are going to be for colleges, but we also don't know how fast that's going to expand. We don't know how fast that's going to rise. We don't know, what the fallout's going to be from a lot of the portal kind of movement and activity, and if that's going to be curtailed down the line. So we're talking a lot of speculation based on what we have in front of us, but there's a lot we don't have in front of us that we don't know. So that's, this is a very amorphous kind of situation that will continue to evolve as we progress. But certainly once the calendar flips and we get to the 25-26 academic year competition cycle, things are going to be happening fast, and things are going to be happening, and people are going to be reacting to things in real time, and that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing it now. We're reacting in real time. We're living through what years and years and years from now are going to be history in terms of college sports, pro sports, everything, which is really surreal to think about.
It is. It should be exciting to see. Obviously, we still have, we look at football, we're seeing the product of some of that with this new, the college football national championship for the FBS, the top. And I think, we've talked about it before, but that's where we're seeing a lot of this driven from, right? A lot of this is derived from the absolutely megalithic entity that is college football, which a lot of people are calling the second biggest sport in America right now, right behind professional football. And, it's not really too much of a mystery as to why that's the sentiment and why that's kind of being, tossed around. And I don't think in a wanton fashion. This is, we're talking about revenue and attention that is very comparable to the NFL and to other major global sports entities. So I don't think that this is by chance and just kind of like shaking down because somebody got lucky with a ruling or a judgment. No, this has been a long process, and this is something that's going to continue to develop. And I think we're a very far distance away from what is eventually going to be a baseline and a standard going forward. I think we have probably another 4 to 5 years to shake out a lot more things, and certainly a lot more money coming into the space for sure.
Gonna be wild, gonna be crazy.
Absolutely. So, but that's again, like we said, that's kind of just the space we're in right now. So we keep on rolling.
We do.
We had a great national championship tournament.
We did.
It was a lot of fun to see Penn State get back on top after, kind of a deferred, pretty decent layoff. It was was it a decade? Was it about 10 years?
I think so.
Yeah. Because I was at the one they won in 2014.
So yeah, it's got to be 10 years in the making.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we had our first female head coach win a national championship for volleyball.
Yeah, this is also the first time 2 female head coaches would both appear in the finals.
Correct.
So big ups to women.
Yep, very exciting stuff. We're seeing a lot more women get into the space and make their contributions. So we love that, and I'm pretty sure. Oh my God, I'm blanking.
Katie Schumacher Colley.
Yeah, I knew it was a hyphenated name.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, Coach Schumacher Colley, if I'm not mistaken, Penn State alum. So we love that.
Yeah, she's also battling cancer.
No way. Is that right?
Yeah, that was like the best. I think that
Oh.
was the best part of this national championship. Take away the fact that there was so much parity, so much talent, so much excitement, more viewership than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she won a national championship in the first ever all-female head coach versus head coach national championship while fighting cancer is just an amazing story to me.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. That's something else. And obviously, congratulations to Penn State. Eighth national championship. And it's nice to see a little bit of the recent conglomerate that's been building with, Nebraska, Texas, Wisconsin a little bit there, kind of get broken up a little bit.
Yeah, I also hope this sparks a little bit more growth in terms of female head coaches in D1 women's volleyball, because I think we need it. But also, like, the sport is better than it's ever been. And I think the translation from top level athlete to top level coach is now shorter than it's ever been, which is fantastic.
Sure. I mean, it's I think hopefully gives a little bit more credence to the lifestyle that coaching, and we've talked about, that it provides and what it gives people to be able to grow the sport and be ambassadors for the game, and kind of show that pathway towards what. And it doesn't mean that you have to have gone to Penn State to be able to win a national championship, if you've been a player. But
but it helps, I'm sure.
Something tells me that, being comfortable in the space that you're in and being familiar with the community around you definitely helps. So again, congrats to everybody at Penn State. We love the fact that, regionally speaking, up in the Northeast, they have a really big following in the volleyball world and the community. And they've done a lot for the game and for the people that are, looking to them as leaders, certainly on the East Coast for the highest level of the game. So, and at least collegiately. So, shout out to them. I think, it was interesting. We saw another scenario where it was, I would say, a pretty strong showing by the tournament seeders. The Final Four was all one seeds. So we definitely saw, I think, the best programs make it to that process, or make it through the process and make the Final Four. So, little bit of, I think all four teams definitely got their fair share of a scare somewhere along the line in the tournament. So it was, I enjoyed the action that the tournament brought this year. And, I'm looking forward to seeing what some of these very shaken up rosters will look like next year. So, and hopefully it brings more teams into the mix and gives, some programs that haven't necessarily gotten a lot of shine in the past, a little bit more attention.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of fantasy football, where you just you redraft every year. Although obviously there's guys who are going to try and get the same players every year because they like them, but the rosters are different every year, and everybody has a chance to win.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna and who knows what new rivalries are gonna spark up because of some transfers, and who knows. We're entering a new state and a new phase of the evolution of volleyball. So certainly on the back end of these collegiate careers, it'll be interesting to see where some of these athletes end up playing professionally, if that's on the table for them. I think we're seeing domestically a lot more of that come around, which we're excited about. And it's an exciting time, as you mentioned before. the state of the game seems to be pretty strong, and we're looking forward to, being along for the ride here.
Yeah. 2025 should be pretty interesting, which kind of brings us to our final note on the year, which is that I don't even know how to say this. Sam is leaving.
Yep. We've come to the end of the road here for my time at PrepVolleyball. It's been a really terrific 3.5 years, and I've been really thankful to have been able to be a part of the process of elevating the game and promoting the players that are coming up and making strides through the juniors ranks, and certainly having gotten to touch on a number of really exciting topics, here on the podcast, and being able to work with a longtime friend and someone that I respect and who's put a lot into the game themselves has been, really special for me as well. So I'm really thankful for that opportunity to have been able to work with you, buddy. And, I'm thankful that PrepVolleyball gave me a chance to be, a voice in the space and be able to use it to, like I said, elevate the game and the players that are driving the growth that it's experiencing now. And so it's been a really special time, and I'm looking forward to being able to continue to be a member of the community and help this fantastic game and process continue to grow and impact more people in their lives down the road. So, thank you to everybody who, watched, listened, read along with us, who came and gave us, really supportive, thanks and appreciation on the road. And to all the people that, continue to consume this media because they care about the game and the people that are a part of it. Thank you. Thank you all for the chance to do this and to be continue to be a member of the community that tries to make this great game something that more people can experience and enjoy, in some capacity. So, like I said, I am very thankful for all of the opportunities and people that I've had a chance to meet. And, I look forward to seeing what the future holds for me in the game. So, thank you all. And looking forward to being just another face in the crowd again.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest benefit. It's like no more emails from parents, no more people coming up to you and go, why didn't you put my daughter in this list?
Oh, there's too many good players, man. We can't get them all. Maybe next time. I don't know.
Probably not, because it's just gonna be me now.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting time in the mix at PrepVolleyball. And, certainly as the chapter closes on my time, and it's gonna be a new dawning, a new day. So stay tuned. We'll have to see what happens with what's coming next down the line. But like I said, I hope that my efforts have been positive for the people that are have been able to see it. And like I said, I'm just really thankful to have had the opportunity. So yeah, thank everybody that's involved at PrepVolleyball, Advanced Sports Media, all the tournament directors that worked with us and were great, letting us get in and provide coverage for their events, and to everybody else out there who we had a chance to come across and hopefully impact in a positive way. Thank you for letting us be a part of your lives.
That was beautiful.
It's we have a way with words here.
I don't know what I'm gonna do without you.
I'm not going far, man. I'm always around. That's the thing. Like a bad penny.
Yeah, they got to bring back Music City, put it back in Nashville, so I have an excuse to come down.
Yeah, I mean the excuse is that I'm here. So yeah. They just had a bowl game the other day down here. I didn't even know it was down here, and just there's a lot going on in Nashville.
And nothing in Jersey.
That's not true at all.
No, that's totally true. Snow's coming. That's about it.
Nah, there was a sinkhole on Route 80 while I was home.
Oh yeah, the good old sinkhole. That's exciting. Come on down, bring the kids. Don't get too close. That's the most exciting. Drones and sinkholes. That's what we got here.
Oh, Netflix is building a studio. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore was just filmed there. The new Bob Dylan movie was just filmed there in parts of South. Yeah, Jersey's got it happening.
We're just going to be LA too.
Nah, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe if we put all the drones in the sinkhole, you can fill it with that.
Maybe. I hope that gets resolved. Route 80, a lot of traffic.
Still closed.
Is it?
Yeah, I guess it was an abandoned mine shaft underneath the highway.
Get out of town.
Such a cool story, but now I'm concerned that there's just abandoned mine shafts everywhere.
It's genius. It's genius.
Ridiculous. What a year.
What a year indeed. Yeah, I'll leave everybody with the very best wishes for 2025. And just the thought that it's going to take every single one of us to make the changes that we hope to see in the world. And if you think locally or think globally and act locally, you'll start to see some pretty big differences in your life. Focus on doing good for good people, and even some of the people that don't treat you great. That has lasting impacts. So don't ever pass up the opportunity to do something good for somebody, because you never know what kind of impact it's going to have for them. So
yeah, don't pass up the opportunity to work with one of your best friends, because it's super fun.
The best.
We're all in this together. My wife likes that movie.
Which one's that?
High School Musical.
Oh, yeah. Classic at this point, isn't it?
That's just aging me so badly.
Never gets any easier. Yeah. So, to all the teams that are, in there, getting ready for this upcoming club cycle, all the best of luck. It will be certainly a different experience not being out on the road, getting to cover events or recruit at them or anything. So it's been a wild ride, and I'm very thankful for the chance to have been on it for so long. And I'm very much looking forward to the next chapter of my career. So volleyball will be involved one way or the other. So you'll have to stay tuned and see where we land next. But
big things plopping.
Of course, always. That's the great part about the game, is that there's always ways to be involved, and there's always ways to give back. And that has been probably my biggest joy in my career, is having been able to do that in so many different capacities and for so many different people. So thank you to all of the coaches that I've worked with. Thank you to everybody who has read our content and who has supported us and the efforts that we've been making. And all the best to the student athletes that continue to, like I said before, drive the progress of this game forward, because, at the end of the day, you're the ones that are making this happen, and we're here for you. So keep up the good work, keep up the camaraderie, and keep up all of the, all of the good things that make this game so special and our community so great. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Sam, it has been a pleasure
Pleasure's
working with you.
Pleasure's all mine, brother.
And maybe someday we'll do another podcast together.
Whoa.
Just not on this channel.
Just not on this channel. It's been a real slice, and our friendship has been one of the great joys of my life, and I'm very appreciative that we got to be able to take that and bring it to the people and share it with them. So I couldn't be more thankful for that and for you. And so thanks, buddy.
Thank you, sir. And for one last time, sign us off.
Everybody be good to each other.
Balloons forever.
Forever.